Good afternoon. My name is Mike Oren. This is Mobile User Experience 1502. This is Project 7, Storyboarding and Application. This is going to be an iteration of last week's project with some of the critiques worked into it to make it a more finalized application. If we scoot over to the prototype, here is the basic login screen. I have implemented a forgot email or password feature and a failed login attempt. So if you put in your email address, whatever, and then the password, blah blah blah, return. Say that you mistype something or you mistyped your email or password. Obviously, this would be just a normal login button, but say the information was incorrect, it would bump you over to a screen or an alert dialog, something I can't actually do with the prototyper. Pop-up box saying that your email or password is incorrect. Check your credentials. Try again. Or if you forgot your email or password, there is a screen where you can put in a new email or password. Obviously, something that you can verify, and then submit that. Then an email will be sent to your address with a new confirmation link and new credentials. So two features are new. Now say you successfully log in, it'll bump you to an account screen based on what type of account you have. For the purpose of this demonstration, we're going to be going to my accounts because this is going to be the father's page showing all three accounts. If you click on the dad account, it'll give you, the name of the account number, the current balance, account history. Last week I got a message saying if I could add the new balance after each transaction. So I basically just put the information in here, the date and location of the transaction, if it's a deposit or withdrawal, and then the new balance. So you would have the new balance after each transaction, so you know exactly where you're at. If something put you over, if you overdraft, you know exactly where it came from. So that's a new addition to the account history. Transfer funds, I made some changes. You have a transfer fund from dad account to which of the following accounts, and then you have a drop down menu. One of the critiques was asking why I was using a drop down menu. Where is it? Just okay. On the transfer fund, why do you have a drop down menu for the account and a carousel? Use one or the other. The prototyper doesn't allow me to use a drop down for whatever reason. Whatever widget this is or whatever particular object, I wanted a drop down. I entered the values for a drop down, but whenever you click on the drop down, it brings up the carousel. On the application, that would not happen. That would just be it would be just a standard drop down without the carousel. I guess in this prototyper, the drop down adds a carousel feature. If I was to code it personally, it would not include both of those. So I just want to get that out of the way. I know what you're saying, have one or the other. In the final application, it will definitely be just a drop down, none of this drop down and carousel nonsense. Moving on, if I was going to transfer into the grandma account, I select that. I select the dollar amount. And then another thing you've asked me to introduce is after I choose one time, weekly, monthly, a confirmation page to the transfer. You are transferring this amount of money to this account from this account. So would you like to proceed? After I verify that, I either confirm or I go back to transfer details and correct that. So I'm going to confirm it. So the transfer funds, I've added that implementation. Transfer money, double check that. What if I did $20,000 instead of $200? So that feature has been implemented. The deposit check is going to be the same thing. You hit that, it's going to be a picture. It's going to bring up your camera application, and then you're going to be able to scan in your checks and have those deposited. Find branch or ATM is going to be the same feature. Can't really show you how to do that in this mapping application, but for the prototyper, it's limited to just this, but it would be the same thing. You put in your zip code and get that. So that goes back, and then so that is that. Let's see if there's any of the other features. I addressed the account history. For the can I click on a transaction to see more details? My personal banking application, I can't currently do that, and I'm actually okay with that. I think it's okay the way it is. If I get a paycheck from my workplace, there's an entirely different way I check those pay stubs. I check the pay stubs through an employee website, and those are the deposits that I am familiar with. That's how I would use it. I wouldn't want to implement something at this point that I'm not familiar how to use properly to make it work the way it should. So as of right now, for my personal application and the banking application I use in my personal life, you can't check the more details. You just have the transaction and when it came out, how much was taken out or how much was deposited. And I think that works. I think there are other ways to check that more accurately. Let's see. The list of weekly and monthly transfers, that's something that I would set up through the banking website. That's something a little bit more complicated, something that I wouldn't necessarily want to do from a mobile application. Just regular ones for the transfer funds. I have implemented a feature where I can set up a transferable account if I wanted to. It's not the most intuitive, I think, to do on a mobile phone, but I've added it. You can give me your feedback when you grade this. You can enter the account number, the routing number, and select whether it's going to be a save account for future use or one-time transfer. You can just click those with the radio buttons and then submit that, and then you could add that to your drop down for accounts. So that's something I have implemented. And then back to the accounts, see if there was any other things. I addressed how to transfer money that isn't one of the linked accounts, setting up linked accounts. The determining what features each account gets. Again, that would be something that would be set up from the website itself. You can't add bank accounts on the application. If you download the mobile app, you must already have a set up bank account with that bank branch. So that's something that you would set up at the time of creating an account. What kind of features that account gets. That's something that I wouldn't have set up in a mobile application. It's one of those things that's a lot more details than someone would want to put in on a tiny screen. Much more information that you would probably have sitting down at a computer and setting that up, or setting it up inside an actual branch when you open an account with that bank. And then lastly, is there an auto logout after a period of time? I would like to say sure. I don't know how I would demonstrate that in the prototyper. I can't have inactivity and then back to the login screen. Obviously, I'd implement a fail-safe like that, but at the moment, I don't know how to demonstrate that, but sure, it would have that. And then the same thing as last week. I'll just go over briefly one more time the level of features for the daughter application. You'd have a goal tracker. She's working through high school, trying to save up for a car. That until the goal is met. She would have the account history available to her. That's just a basic feature. And depositing a check, another basic feature that everyone would have. And then the grandma account, a little bit simpler, just something that, check your accounts on the go. You'd have your account history, checking the new balances or whatever, and then you'd have your deposit check feature. Something that, would probably be a little advanced for the elderly, depending on, their level of smartphone knowledge and familiarity, but included just in case, because it's better to have it than not have it. You can always ignore it. So that would be the application this week, based off of the suggestions from last week. And yep, that's it. Mike Oren signing out.